Peace. Welcome everybody to Mikey Eyes TV. I have a special guest today. He's from the legendary Renegades crew, the West Coast. B-Boy Blakk. For all those who know him from the Bay. You know what I'm saying? I've been knowing Blakk for like many years. And it's rare that, that he speaks though, but I got an opportunity to speak to him today, so we're going to be talking about some dope history though, how he got involved with breaking. Yo, what's up, Daylight? How you doing though, bro? So, Renegades is one of the first crews that I seen in like the early 90s too as well, along with Rock Force. It was Rock Force and Renegades battling. And then after that, other crews though too. We're talking about up north. What's up, Daylight? I got a homeboy today by the name of Blakk from the Renegades crew. Though we're gonna do an interview today, so that's gonna be exciting to hear his story. Though, not sure if you remember him. What's up, Dante? Yo, Dante, I got Blakk on here finally, though, bro. So, it's gonna be dope to hear his story, though. Cloud9, what up? Yo, Blakk, so if you can hit that button for me, there we go, bro. So, give me a second so I can put these earbuds in. I'm going to accept you in right now. I'm excited for this one. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yo, Blakk, how you been, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just hanging, chilling, living life, family, and everything else, man.
That's cool though, brother. I'm so excited to get you on though, bro, because the last time I seen you is when Style Elements was battling the Renegades.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was what?
Well,
That was the 20th, that was the 35th. So like 5 years ago now.
actually longer than that because I've been in LA for 7 years. We're talking about maybe about 8 or 9 years ago.
Damn, that long, man. Just time flies, bro.
Yeah. So if you can, for the audience watching today though, Blakk, can you introduce yourself though real quick, brother?
Sure, man. This B-Boy Blakk. I represent Cloud9 Tribe. It's my family crew, and then the Renegade Rockers, the Mighty Renegades. They're going on about 5 generations, and from the Bay Area. Started out of San Ramon, which is kind of out there in the outskirts, but originally from Oakland, and just keeping the people in style alive back in the early 2000s now.
Yo, that's dope, Blakk. So, Cloud9 though, can we start with that though, bro? Like, what is how did Cloud9 get started, and what year did it get started?
Ah, man, so Cloud9, I mean, originally it was just like me, my brother, and Noi. Back in the day, it was just us three. We were in high school at the time. It had been like around 97.
Okay.
We just started dancing, man, and that was it, man. It was like a dance class at the high school. We were dancing in the hallways and stuff like that, cutting it up, and then we kind of started like another crew before that. If anybody knows, shout out to Hydro Force 4.
Okay.
That was the original name that we had started with. It was just me, Noi, and my brother, Bishop, and so we were doing our thing. And it sprouted from there, right? Right after high school is where it really like popped off at. I started college, started going to DVC, and I ran into a couple of cats in the Bay Area, the East Bay, some of the East Bay Mafia crew.
Are you talking about like Conflict and everybody else?
Yeah. So I actually met Hollywood back in the day. He was going to the same college as me. It was Hollywood, and I don't know if you remember Sid Vicious, man. He used to represent Endless Villains back in the day.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah, so we started hanging out and everything like that, and so me and Noise like, yo, we gotta start this crew, man. What we gonna do, man? And we hooked up with our boy Reese.
Okay.
Reese is pieces.
I remember him. Yep, I
Yeah,
remember him.
back in the day, yeah. So we looked up Boy Reese because he was going to DVC too. Well, that was kind of the meetup spot, man. If anybody knows, like that was the inception of all this stuff back in the day. And when um, up in Reno, and let's go out there. And I'm like, all right, cool, we're gonna go out there. So it was me, Noy, my brother, Reese's. We go out there, and Abe was throwing the event at the time. Um,
Oh, A from Flex.
yeah, Abe. And
Okay.
I don't even want to talk about this, but it's kind of funny, man, because Abe at the time had this thing where you can get into the gyms for free if you were out of state. And so Reese was like, "Well, I'm from Reno. I'm out of state, right?" So and he's like, "Nah, I know Reese is out of state, but I know Blakk and Noy. I know y'all from the Bay."
All
And
right.
but we officially started Cloud9 then. We named the crew there. That was our first battle. It was us four originally, and it just kind of sprouted from there. And being one
You
of the
see,
few crews, like kind of in that East Bay area, right? I mean, they had East Bay Mafia at the time, and Ills Villains were out there too. But we were a young crew, and there was a lot of young guys out there that weren't a part of crews and wanted to join up. And kind of just sprouted off from there, man. And you know, we kind of predicated ourselves on being a family crew more than anything. So. I mean, a
I
lot of people
noticed that.
resonate with that, man.
I remember that because, like, in my point of view, like, I noticed that it was three brothers in the crew, though. When I say brothers, meaning, like, black people. And for me, that stuck out in the Bay. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Because that was rare because everybody was either, like, black and Filipino.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was just us, and so my younger brother got into it later on down the line. He kind of like came out of the woodwork. We didn't even know he was practicing at the time, and just like blew up out of nowhere, and that was it. So yeah, it was just
Okay.
us three. It was three brothers. We kind of do it, And sometimes we still end as brothers of Cloud, us three, and I mean, can we rock every now and then, and it's been cool, man. And like I said, man, we predicate us as being a family crew. So Noy is my brother, man. Like no
Yeah.
joke. He knows my mom. He knows my dad, and he knew he comes up with family. He just roll up to the house anytime he want. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we got a couple of cats like that, like Rocket Man. I don't know if you remember Rocket Man. He was out in Vallejo. He got down with us
Okay.
back in the day, and he's family, man. We all still see each other. And we still talk and everything else, man. So
Mm. Do you remember the first time that you seen breaking?
first time I what?
The first time you ever seen breaking?
Yeah, yeah, man. It was funny. The first time we actually seen it was it'll be funny, man. It was actually on the Wiggles popping tape.
Oh,
Like for real, like real life breaking. Like we seen cats like bust a windmill and stuff like that and everything like that. Like but like real life breaking, like it was on the
yeah.
Wiggles. And because we were popping before this, and I don't think most people know this, that like we were actually like I was like a legit like popping locking crew, like legit, like
Are
way
you
before.
serious?
Yeah, we were serious about it. It was me and this other cat named Jay, and we would do it, and we would go into like Mr. Rags back in the day, and
Oh yeah, Mr. Rice had all the yes.
yeah, and there was this dude over here where we stay at over here in Pleasanton, Mr. Rags. And we used to go in there, and we used to just go in there and just do our thing all day at the Mr. Rags store, man. That's where we used to hang out at. So then
Mm-hmm.
we saw that, and we're like, oh, let's try that. Let's flip it, right? And we got down and everything else like that, and we tried to do it. And then we started getting like real live into it. We started buying tapes and stuff like that because there was nobody around in our area at the time, man. It was just us.
Oh, okay.
So we learned off the tapes, man. Like no lie, man. Like the Breaking Garcia tapes back in the day. Just getting those, and just teaching ourselves, man. It wasn't until like I don't know 2001
Mm-hmm.
where me and Noy went to our first B-boy event up in Tracy, and that's when we saw DSD-1 for the first time. We saw Iron Monkey for the first time. And I don't know if Iron Monkey was there. We saw Red Dragon, all the cats out there. And that was like the first time. And then like the first like real battle, like we started going in and started joining was one of Nonstop Donovan's jams back in the day. He used to throw a lot of the events that we used to go to. And after seeing that, we were hooked, man. Like after seeing, Sean, Flex Slave, EJ at the time, and we were hooked.
Oh yeah. EJ. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember EJ? Yeah, we saw like EJ was just doing some crazy stuff back in 2000, stuff I ain't never seen before, man.
Yeah,
Um,
EJ was nice though, bro, because he was hanging around with Sean.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
He
saying?
was a lot, a lot. And Sean had that. He had that like that. That was him, man. He was just hanging around folks and just like almost elevate their levels at prime, man. So it was real dope. Yeah, watching that event back in the day, Vallejo, that was when we were hooked, and we just started hitting jam after jam after jam after jam after jam. We were going everywhere, man, and like it was like every other weekend we're at a jam because I don't know, man. I don't know what it's like now in the scene, but there was a jam like every weekend. Like from like
Yeah.
2000 all the way to like 2010, and we would go to all of them. We were there. Like it didn't matter how far it was, or how deep in Sac it was, or how deep in the South Bay was. We would go into all of the events, man, and we would just try to pop up everywhere we could and just like make a name for ourselves. Because that's what it was. It was like you had to rep. Right, that was the only way people knew you back in the time. There's no social media, no nothing. Like
I
the only
know.
way you knew that you were doing something and people knew who you were, that you went out to the events and you repped. You went to the jam, you lost the first round, you come out, you go hit the ciphers up, and you rep and you rep and you rep. And that was all we did. Like legit, like I can't remember how many battles we actually won back in the day, to be honest with you. Like one maybe, like you know what I'm saying? But it was just like we rep and rep and rep and rep, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, what's up, Conflict? We got True Young here. Um, yeah, you know what, Black? I was gonna ask you, do you remember the first time you came that you came across me or that you seen me? You remember that?
Yeah, it was at one of the cell space events, man, and like
Yeah.
yeah, I saw you, man. You were always just like hitting the ciphers up. It was just let me put in a preference, man. In like 2000, 2010, breaking was on some wild stuff, man. Like we would like jump in the air, land on our shoulders, and like on the head, and like
Right.
people doing wrist 90s and like head backflips and everything like that, man. Like we were just on some other stuff, right? Like it was just crazy, man. I couldn't do all that stuff, man. So I saw you with just like the original style, like all those cats back in the day that I saw. It was you, it was Foots, it was Ajax, it was a lot of cats back in the day. They were just doing the original style. So I watched that, man. Man, hell,
Okay.
even Morris back in the day, man.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like that there was a lot of that original style that like I saw, man, and some of them threw the tricks in there and like but like I remember seeing you the first time just hitting the cipher up. It was just like super clean footwork and like I said, we were watching
Yeah.
like New York styles back in the day. So that was it. Like Wiggles was the first B-boy I saw, right? So all I saw was that original style. Like
Mm.
that was the only thing I knew, right? And then when we started like going to the events in the Bay and we were doing all that crazy stuff, I was like, well, that's great. I mean, it's a joke. Don't get me wrong. I was loving it. You see me in some of the videos, like just blowing it up for like DSC1 and all the stuff they were doing. But like me,
Mm.
my style, like my first education to it was like Wiggles original style break, like just like that, like what I saw you doing. So yeah, I definitely remember it. And I was like, man, who's this cat, man? He ain't doing nothing. He ain't like spinning on his neck and nothing like that. And I'm like, he just deciphering. He did decipher all day, all day, sweating,
Yeah. Right.
sweating, bro.
You're right though, bro. I remember I used to go to slow space jams though, bro. I used to sweat at least like 5 t-shirts.
Bro, dude, just sweating, man. Just out there, just doing it, man. And I remember that because, like, I remember seeing you and, like, you had, like, your jersey on and your shorts on, and it'd be drenched, bro. And I was like, I was like, who's that
That's
cat? He's
tight.
like, that's Mikey Ice. And I was like, yo, he been in the circle all night, bro. And the
All,
jams be lasting
all night
eight
though.
hours, 8 hours back in the day. It go from, like, 2 to, like, midnight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like,
You're
all
right
night.
though, Black. Like you was paying attention though, bro. Yeah, because I figured I'm coming all the way from Fresno to the Bay. That's like a 3 hour drive though. You know what I'm saying? So I figure if I go there, I better put out everything. So I went in there on the mission and I was dancing as soon as I went down those steps. As soon as I got to them steps.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like, so we never like actually had like true conversations because you be dancing all night. You know what I'm saying? Like the conversation I had with you was like just watching you, just you doing your thing, and I'm like, okay, all
Right.
right, man. He's out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing his thing.
That's dope, though, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that, though, Black man. Like, I think a lot of people, like, from our generation and on, it's like they remember those times because, like, I'm still about it, but even back then, I was still really about it because, and I remember like seeing you guys. I remember one time there was an event. I think Dante's on here. It was me, you, and all your brothers, and we just made a circle, bro. And we was going hard, and they played a scenario, and we did all the lyrics to the scenario. Each one of us took a turn. You there at that event?
I remember that event. Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember where I was at, man, but yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, bro.
For sure.
And for me, that was so dope because like, who's that, Brown? And then
Mm-hmm.
every time like somebody went out, like we all took turns. Like we was just on some musicality though, bro. And I remember that night was so dope because it was just like me and then everybody from Cloud Nine. We were just all taking turns like dancing to the scenario.
Well, yeah, because that was like we seen each other dance for so long. Like we said, we've had that conversation already before. It just didn't manifest in that way until that night. You know what I'm saying? So like we already knew what you were about. You knew what we were about, and that was it, man. We were just having a conversation.
Uh,
So like it was a beautiful thing, man.
right, right. So during that time, I remember DSD1 and Flex was going at it hard though, bro. And I remember it got to the point where it was like Abe made like 4 teams of Flexible Flav.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like DSD1, Cloud9, and like Flex, like always like in the semis or like the finals. And I remember like Abe was like the Don King though, bro. He manipulated that like where he would just have if the first team didn't make it in Flex, the second team would make it.
Yeah. And to pull the curtain back on that back in the day, man, and like it was like it got harder and harder. Like I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what it seems like now, but it got harder and harder to have your individual crews because everybody, it was like it's like the NBA draft, man. Like, everybody looking for like the big three. You know what I'm saying? Like yo, like we need this guy. You need to be the role player and everything like that. So it got harder and harder to like have your own crew back in the day. And look, like I said, to pull the curtain back a little bit, man. Like DSD1 and Flex Flav were like hitting all the members up of Cloud9, like, yo, when you gonna join the crew, man? Like, yeah, I know Cloud9 is dope and everything like that, but we Flex Flav and we got all this, like, and so it was always hitting us up from all over the ends, man.
Oh, really?
Stuff like that. Oh, all the time, brother, all the time.
You wanted
Man.
to recruit you guys too?
Yeah. They definitely did, and like, bigs up to them, man, and the respect, and like, it was definitely enticing at the time, seeing what they were doing and everything like that. But it was like, nah, I mean, I'm having fun with my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was. So at the time, it just didn't make any sense, and we kept doing our thing, man. Like I said, and like I said, we might not have been like the most like successful crew and did all the big things, man. But like I don't know, man. It was more like just making a name for ourselves, man. I don't think. I mean, you can ask any of them on here, man. I don't think it would ever mattered if we like won the gym or anything like that. I think it was just more about just repping, you know, like.
I liked that name. Yeah, I liked that name because Cloud9 is one of my favorite jams actually within itself. Though I love when I would hear Cloud9, like that's just like the jam though, bro. So just seeing that you guys represented under that name,
Yeah.
it was very unique. It stood out. It stood out big time for me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, a lot of it had to do with the music, a lot of the name, and as kids, you're just trying to figure out something super unique that like nobody's doing. Like, yo, what do we call ourselves now, man? And like we went through the names just like anybody else, man. And we did the the Cloud9 because we were always just having fun. Like it was like when we're going out there, it's like we're on Cloud9. You know what I mean? Like it's all good, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like the song had a little bit to do with it too, but it was more of a feeling, right? It was more of a feeling. Yeah, and we wrote it down and like we looked at it like, oh, that's it, man. But like we gotta have something on the end. Like, what are we? Like, we're family. Like, oh, tribe, right? And a lot of the tribe came from because like a Tribe Called Quest was one of our like all-time favorite groups back in the day, man. So like that's what the tribe. Yeah, that's what the tribe part came into. So, but yeah, so like that was the whole naming for it. And that was why we created the name.
So during that time, Star Elements was still, just like when you got into breaking, though, they were making a name for themselves. Like, how did you, when you seen Star Elements break, though, like, what was your thoughts on them as a crew, though, too, as well? Because like they was going up to the Bay, though, bro, and like it was making noise, though, bro.
They were, and they were kind of separated at the time. Like during that time, they were traveling a lot more, so you didn't see them a lot. Like I think that was around the time that Benji had that battle and they were doing a lot of things. But the first time I actually saw Remind was at B-Boy Summit. I think it was B-Boy Summit 2000 or 2001.
Okay.
And yeah, he was in the Cypher, and I swear I'll never forget the set that he did. He did the illest set, and like hit every beat, and was doing his thing on the ground, going from chair freeze, back up, back down, chair freeze, and he came back up, started dancing again, and I was like, yo, this dude he's the god, man. Like, like I was tripping out, you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And that was the first time I saw him, and like I was like. And just watching how they were vibing and such like that, like, because that was like, we were still kind of developing Cloud 9 at the time. I was like, yo, that's what I want. I was like, yo, that vibe right there, I'll never forget that, man. Like, I have it on tape somewhere, VHS somewhere at home.
Oh,
I
you
remember.
do?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll have to share it with you, man, and you can post it up one day, man, if I can find it. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was the dopest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. I was like, man, I'll never forget that experience. Just watching Remind. It was like there's a couple of people like in the scene like that change like your thoughts about how breaking is and what it really truly is to you and like what it means to me. That was one of those moments, watching Remind for the first time, watching you get down, just sweating it out in the ciphers, and watching Iron Monkey.
Yeah.
Like those are like pivotal moments, and like it'll never shake in my head, man. It was like crazy things I've seen in B-boy ever, man. And like in those moments, they weren't like even like pivotal moments. Like no one will ever remember it, but like I was like, yo, I can tell you the day of like when it happened, how it went down, exactly what it smelled like, what he was wearing. Like it was just like it's one of those things, man.
Yeah, you right though, Black. You had me down to the detail because I remember jerseys was my thing though, bro. Like
Oh yes,
I
man. Yeah, the
wanted to
long
come,
jerseys. Yeah.
I wanted to come into the Bay looking fresh though, bro. But
Oh,
I knew
yeah,
at the end of I knew at the end of the night that my stuff would be like drenched, and I took pride in that though. I remember everybody just be looking at me from a distance, like yo, like. And I remember coming out of Soul Space just feeling like I did my thing, bro. But I was always happy to see you guys though. And you're right, even though I didn't really know Cloud9 like that,
yeah.
I think it was so much of a mutual respect because the way that you guys looked at me, it was just like we were having conversation with just like just a head nod, and I always appreciated that.
Yeah, and that was kind of like a big thing. I don't know if you remember back in the day, Morpheus, back in the day, he got down with Cloud9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, and like Morpheus, I mean, like you have to ask him and talk to him, but he reminded me of you a lot, and like I was like, yo, Morpheus, man, you got to get down, bro. Like you just way too ill, man. Probably one of the illest dudes to come out of the Bay, man. That really just didn't like I know he didn't like care about it. He was like us. He's like just having fun, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, one of the illest dudes out of the Bay, man. And it was like there's a couple of cats that like we just saw that like, yo, get down with us, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like yeah, it was crazy, man. So yeah, shout out to Morpheus, man.
Somebody said in the comments they feel like they slipped on a few spots. Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I used to get the spots so wet, bro. I remember people would be like, yo, like relax, Mikey. But I was just so pumped up, bro. I remember like I would leave the floor just like in this pure sweat because I was just going hard. Like
Look,
I don't know though, bro.
we were in grimy places a lot of times. We're in like remember Cell Space, man? They had one place that they take down where they had the floor at. You know what I'm saying? And like, and then everywhere else was just concrete, man. It was like this slick concrete that we just breaking on all the time. And we was sweating out there, bro. There was no air conditioning, man. We lived in the Bay. It'd be hot, and we'd be in there for hours, bro. We had to come outside, like we'd be like, oh god, like need some air, man. It would be like 90 degrees still outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it'd be sweaty, bro, man. Like it'd be worse than sometimes it'd be worse than the nightclubs we used to go to back in the day, man. It'd be out there, bro. But we'd be grinding, man, and just doing it, man.
You know who used to rock with me too was Wacko.
Yeah.
Like in the late 2000s. Yeah, me and Wacko and Morpheus though, bro. We used to create our own circle though, bro. If you remember that, us three.
Yeah.
Because we were just really we were trying to keep it like to the rhythm because we seen everybody doing power in the front, but by the steps, we was like, bro, if you come back here where the steps is at, it's straight up just we're just we was on a musical tip though. We made it known like if you came by the steps, like you better have the beats with you though, bro.
I remember the first time I seen Blakk. It wasn't at Cell Space. It was at a different event in the city back in the day. And I remember y'all two in the circle for a minute. And that's actually the first time I seen Wacko was when he was dancing with you. And like later on down the line, I had no idea Wacko had like hurt his wrist, and that's why he didn't get down anymore, man. Like,
That's you, dang, Blakk. You know your excuse me though, bro. You know your shit though, bro. And that's the reason why. Because when I first met Wacko, he told me that his wrist was messed up. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
when he would see me rock, he was like, "Yo, I'll just rock with you all night." And this is before he ever got into like the up rock thing. This is before
Just way before that. Yeah,
forever.
way before that. Yeah,
Yeah,
way before that.
before anybody started getting into the rock
Yeah.
in the Bay, like
Mm-hmm.
Wacko, he was pop rocking with me in the back though, and that's how we developed a friendship. And then Morpheus was already down though too, so it's like all the brothers though, we just kind of like just formed up like the Wonder Twins though, bro. We was like just go to the back. That was such a dope time, man. Dang, you bringing it back though,
Yeah, yeah,
bro.
100%, man. Let me ask you this, man. There's been a couple of cats that came out of Fresno. We went out to a couple of those gyms out there. What was like the scene like in Fresno at that time? Because like I noticed y'all were coming out here quite a bit, but
Right.
like I know there was like a deep scene out there, right? I've actually talked to Red Dragon about this in detail, man. Like, cause he's kind of from around that area too, man.
Okay.
Like, what was it like that? Like, I'm curious actually, man. What was it like out there?
So you want to say like around 97?
Yeah, like around 97,
Okay.
like early 2000s. Like it was like I'm like. You know what I mean? Probably
Okay.
99, 97. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So during that time, to be honest with you, like the real story is that like I remember, and I never really shared the story, but I'm gonna share it now. I remember at the gym in Fresno, I was breaking on the floor, and it was Marcio, Eric, Charles, and Pablo.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember like yeah, and I remember looking at Pablo, and Pablo did the air track or the air flare, whatever it is. The air flare though, right? Is when you're on your hands and you twist.
Yeah, yeah.
The air flare. He did the air flare one time, and I looked up, and everybody started going crazy, and I was like, "What was the big deal?" I'm like, so I kept doing my thing, you know what I'm saying? And then I seen him do it. He did a 1.5, and Eric and them lost their mind though, bro. And this
This
is
is like,
like around
I've heard this story before. He's like the first one to do it, and nobody knows this story. Like one of the first dudes, the original guys to do it.
right. Nobody's ever really told this story though, but I seen him do 1.5, and when he did that, like he was shocked. Everybody was shocked. It was like, what the fuck? And then they went out to freestyle session, and that's when they had the battle when it was Soul Control versus Flying Tortillas,
Yep.
and they threw Pablo out, and Pablo did like I think he did 3.
Yeah, did he? I honestly, I never think I've seen that. I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
bro. Like he did 3, and when he did 3, everybody at freestyle session went crazy though because like and people started trying it that day though, and people was crashing all over. He's like, you trying to learn right after they see it, everybody started trying it in the gym, and people started like falling, like crashing on the floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be honest with you, the first person I seen do that move, and I seen him do it, was Pablo.
Yeah, yeah, no. That's actually I've actually heard this story, not just from you, man. I've heard this story about Pablo being one of the first cats that like to really do the air flares,
So
especially
with
in the
that,
Bay for sure. First in the Bay.
right,
First in the Bay.
right. So with that being said, what he ended up doing is that because we have a strong Asian community in Fresno, which is the Hmong community, and since they're really already on that gymnastic tip, it just kind of like it just shot a jolt of energy to Fresno, and then everybody started like kind of figuring it out. But they couldn't quite get it as good as Pablo because he kept practicing it so well, and him and Charles were going back and forth. They were like doing it together, you know what I'm saying? And basically they fed off each other, and then they basically they started taking that to best of the best, and then they started coming out to LA, and that was the beginning of the Airflare era. But then once I seen Iron Monkey and I seen Ruin, actually at that time Ruin was called Kid Sub though, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Monkey, huh?
Yeah. I remember when it's called that. Yeah, nobody knows about
Yeah.
that.
But honestly, when I see somebody perfect it, like a little bit better than Pablo, I would say I would have to look at maybe like Sean, like Iron Monkey though, because he was more
It's
developed. He was a strong brother
strong,
though.
it's very strong. Yeah, yeah.
But the credit, to be honest with you, like I would say it goes to Pablo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
after that, like Charles and them started traveling, and Eric started traveling, and then it was kind of after that Eric left Fresno, and then he moved to San Diego. Then he joined the Rhythm Bugs.
Yep.
Remember that when Eric was in the Rhythm Bugs?
I remember that. Yeah, yeah. Was Eric
Yeah.
still living in Fresno when he went to Rhythm Bucks, or did he
Nah,
move to San Diego?
he he moved to San Diego, but yeah, somebody mentioned Gerald. Yeah, and then Gerald. Oh my gosh, though, bro, I can't even get into Gerald though, man. Like once Gerald got a hold, because Gerald was coming from Sacramento, to Fresno a lot too because him and Charles they developed a friendship. So Gerald, like he seen Pablo, and then basically Joe took off with it from there too as well.
Yeah, Gerald. Yeah, yeah. A lot of those cats there, and a lot of those guys developed like there's like some deep roots in like the East Bay, man. Like in the East Bay Mafia in those times, like there's a lot of guys that were out there doing it back in the day that like really like helped a lot of those guys. I don't know if you remember.
Poison, bro, and Dope Sauce.
Oh yeah, Poison and Dope Sauce. Yeah, man. So it was really cool, man. Like it was cool, man. Like over the years, and just like as we grew and stuff like that, I became closer to those guys back then, and now I see them. And like
really?
Yeah. I talked to Poison a little bit every here and there now. It's been good, man.
This is when he was Zero Gravity, though, right?
It was Zero Gravity, man. But he always had a relationship like with Renegades as well too, man. So he's always been like the cousin.
Yeah. So, like, transitioning from Cloud9, like, how did you get into the Renegades? Were you invited into the Renegades, or you had the battle?
It's actually a crazy story, man. I don't actually think I've actually told people publicly what the story was.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever told anybody how the story actually was.
You're fifth generation Renegades?
I'm more for than anything. The way that the generations work and how it's all developed, like, I'm more for than I am fifth, because fifth is the latest one.
Okay,
but
right.
So it's how it really went down is like back in the day when we were still like growing Cloud9, and I don't know if you remember Iron Giant, right?
Yep.
Iron Giant, that like truly is really like a brother to me. We stayed with me a lot, and we grew together quite a bit. And me and him would always go down, like, because he was always at the house, and I couldn't get everybody else to come with me. He was always at the house. We was going down to Mission Rec. And Renegades used to invite us to the practice, and like that, I don't know if anybody know back in the day, Mission Rec was an exclusive Renegades practice spot. So, like nobody can go there.
Heard of that place though, bro.
Yeah, it was deep in the Mission, and they had the spot locked down there, and it was like that was it. Like nobody else. Like so, if you got invited to a Renegade practice, that meant something. So like we'd go down there and practice with them. And Danny was kind of like D-Rock. He was kind of like the guy we used to talk to all the time, and like, but I didn't really know anybody else in Renegades, but D-Rock. We used to chill all the time, and he used to hang out with me, Iron Giant, Morpheus, and we were kind of cool. And I don't know if anybody remember Leadfoot too. He used to be down with Cloud9 too. Leadfoot was with us. Okay. So how the story goes down, we're at an event, and it's Remind's event. Rhythm, it was the Weapons of Mass Expression.
What?
I'll never forget the name.
What year was that?
Oh, gosh, 05 maybe? 05, 04? And it was Remind's event. That's Cell Space too, mind you. Right?
Oh.
We're at Cell Space.
Okay.
So that's Cell Space. And me and John, we're just chilling because they're doing the crew battle there, and we heard all these crews that are in this thing. So we're going to go watch. And me and John just want to go watch, and we're rapping in the circles and everything like that. So Renegades is there, and it's Tony Styles, Iron Monkey, and Rock's Right. And something happened.
Oh.
Yeah, something happened with D-Rock. He couldn't do the event, and Kid David didn't make it. Or something like that. The two guys were supposed to be with them, supposed to be D-Rock and Kid David. And for whatever reason, they couldn't make it to the event, so they were down 2. I'm in the back in the room over there, just like kind of hanging out with Renegades. Politics is like, yo, we need 2. Yo, Blakk. All right, John, I need y'all in it, right? I was like, I looked at Iron Giant. I was like, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do this, man. So we get in the battle, right? We get in the battle, we do the first round, and we go out there, we do our thing. And then, of course, what ends up happening is Renegades, Rock Force going up against each other.
Oh, I think I remember that.
And I don't know if people remember, man, we were going at it with Rock Force for a minute. Like, it was like some real beef for a little while, man.
I remember that, so, man, I was there.
Yeah, so everybody, and so, like, it got hyped up. It got hyped up a lot. So we're going in there, and it's Rock Force and Renegades. We go out there, and we battle. And we're going out there blow for blow. Everybody's going out there killing it. Sean does his thing, like, kills it. John does, like, a crazy air chest. You know, Iron Giant, like, he would just throw stuff out sometimes and just make things happen. Iron Giant is, like, this crazy air chair spin, stuff like that. Crowd goes crazy. Everybody's blowing up. And then Johnny UC does something to Paul, and Paul gets super mad and gets like mad, and like he was so disrespected, and they ended up start talking and everything. We ended up like talking to him after the event and super heated with them. We ended up doing an exhibition battle afterwards because of that, because it was like some big deal. But politics was so upset because we lost that battle. And rightfully so, man. Right, Rock Force came through that night, man. They really did, man, because they had it was Ajax, Machine, John UC, Kareem was there. And they came through that night. They came through and really held it down. But I remember politics being super upset at the night because they lost. He's like, man, we shouldn't have lost that. We won that. Blah blah. You know how B-boys are. We always like, we won, right? And like we lost that. Like, look, Blakk, Iron Giant. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all down. Like you're down with. And that night it was like y'all down with Renegades. Right?
Wow.
And it just happened so fast. And I was like, and because this is not. And I to kind of go back and to give some context to it. I've been talking to Renegades for a real long time. They've been really kind of wanting me down for a really long time. And like I said back in the day, it was hard to keep the small crews together. And I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not really down with the big crews. And I was like, and I remember talking even to Rock's right, because that's how we even got invited to Mission Rec in the first place, because they've always kind of like thought about having us down. But that night, you're down, and caught up in the hype. I'm like, yeah, we down, Renegades, right? We go to City Nights to celebrate afterwards and everything else, and it was that was it, man. There was no battle in or anything like that. Like the battle in was us just showing up to the event, being down the battle, and coming through at the time. It was like what we always predicate ourselves to doing, just going out there and repping, and that's what we did. We went out there and rep, and because we repped hard, they were like, you're Renegades, man. And that was it, man, and that the rest was history from there.
Dang. And what year was that again?
2005, man. 2005.
Yo,
and
City Nights was the spot, though, bro. I remember Sharon would let us in, though, bro. She would let me and Sean in, though, bro.
That was the after spot for Renegades crew for sure, man.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
So for sure, man. So yeah, that's how we got down, man. And like even then, like because we got down so quick, me and Iron Giant. There's a lot of the members too. They were like, I don't know, man, this is kind of quick or anything like that. But it ended up working out because we do. I still talk to those cats all the time, man, and they do. Man, the Renegades doing their thing, man. So
Are you still a part of the Renegades, or you just kind of like stepped away from it?
Well, I mean, like I'm still Renegades. Like I'm still like invited to all the events if like they have anything going down. But like I'm really in b-boying, so like we'll let the younger generation take off right now, man. You got Run, you got Somar and all those cats, Danny Dibble, Dennis the Menace. They're doing their thing. So I keep up on those cats all the time, man. And like we're family. Like I used to work with Finesse. We used to work in San Francisco for many, many years. Me and Sean and Finesse used to work together. So I always have an affinity for Sean. That's he's like an older brother to me, man. He's gave me advice and everything like that. So we're real close. So me and Finesse and all those guys. Okay,
that makes sense. The night, I think it was at Soul Space, the Renegades versus Style Elements for the third time. You know there was a first battle?
Yep.
There was the first battle, though, bro. And I remember that. Yeah, there was a first battle before that, and then Radiotron, and then the third one.
Yes. So that's how Radiotron even happened, because of that first battle, or whatever, right? I think because it was like, yeah.
So how'd you feel about that night during that battle?
Yeah.
Like, because that was a legendary battle. That's Renegades and Style Elements was going at it for a while, man.
Talk about generations, man, right? Like, man, doing that battle was probably like one of the most like memorable experiences, man, because that's history, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it that like we've made history over the times, like everybody talks about, like Renegades and Rock Force and Cloud9, DSD1. I know we created all this history, but being a part of that history, like being like, oh, this is the new gen, version of it, and having that video online, like, it's always able to see. I wish I had that first battle. I want somebody to find that one for me, man. The first.
Yeah, I have it somewhere though, but that battle was crazy though, bro, because it was just crazy because Jazzy and Super Dave was going at it with power.
Oh yeah, all day. Yeah. And so it was really dope, man. To really do that the next time, man. And I tell you, man, meeting Jazzy the first time, man, that was something else, man. I felt like I was meeting royalty, man, meeting Air Jazzy for the first time, man. I remember, we had a reunion, Renegades reunion. That was before the Style Elements, but all the Gen 1, Gen 2 came down. And I remember being so nervous, like watching, I was like talking to Jazzy, and I was like, yo, Jazzy. I knocked over a drink at the club. I was like, oh, my bad, Jazzy. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, let me clean it up, man. I don't even know why I was nervous, man. I was like just a b-boy, man, but I was
Right.
bad nervous. Like,
Right.
like, 'cause you grew up watching these guys on tapes all the times, man, and like being on the tape, being on like a b-boy tape, that was like instant celebrity in my mind, man. Like at the time, I'm like, 13, 14, man. I'm like, yo, I got this Air Jackson, man. He's on that tape that I had back in the day, man. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, being part
So,
of that was special.
so how did you feel about that battle? Did you feel like it was like an exhibition? Do you feel like it was a tie? Or what did you think?
It's so funny, man, because we're so close to those guys now, and a lot of those guys we're real good friends. You know what I mean? And like I said, I meet and remind, and like over the years, because of being down with Renegades or just being like represented all the time, like now I see Remind, we talk a lot, and when I see him and everything like that, it's super dope. So like, it was more of an exhibition more than anything.
Right.
If I go back and look at it, I don't know who won, whatever, man. Like, but it was more of an exhibition in my mind, and it was more of like a thing that just kind of paid tribute to over the years of Renegades and Style Lines that put down the bay. Like, I'd like to see now, like I like to see like a Rock Force one and a Flex Flav or whatever. Like, I think now that we've gotten so far past our history, like now, like back in the day, now it would be seeing DSD1, Flex Flav, and like and Renegades go at the trio, right? Like, because that was the trio for the past generation, right? You know what I mean? Like some of the kids now tell me like that was it, like that was the trio that they used to see, like that was the Radiotron version of that generation. So that's how I see it. I really enjoyed just being a part of the history and just kind of paying tribute to the guys that came before me, because that's what it's all about in my mind, man. Because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that first and second generation of the Renegades, man.
Another thing I was going to share with you, though, and I got you on camera, though. I remember when you came out, I wanted to come out, though, too. I said, I'm going to go after Blakk. I said, I'm going to go after you. Well,
We
right
do
when
it
I
all
was
the
going to
time,
go
bro.
out, yeah, Frankie then was like telling me, he was like, nah, hold on, like, hold off, though, bro. And the thing about it, I didn't even come out in that battle because they were kind of controlling it. They were saying, like, Jay got wicked and mine got, such and such. And then, like, when it came to me, it was just like, wait, like let the other guys go first, Mikey. And I just remember I was like, I should have just went out though, bro. I remember I wanted to go out after you went out though, but now that I look back, I'm just like, I should have just went. I shouldn't have listened to that, bro.
Yeah, I know. We always get caught into, but we do that. That's 100% true. And
Yeah.
that, it's funny. Like, I actually thought that was happening, and I thought A Gang came out because I went out 100%. And so when A Gang went out, I went out after A Gang, man, because
Yeah.
I've always battled that guy back in the day, man. So when I saw A Gang, oh, I got A Gang, man. I used to do that all the time. Funny story, man. I used to do that with Morris. Now Morris is way like, he's God on people. I'll never come out that guy now, man. I used to do everything. I used to do that to Morris, and I used to do that to Ajax. Shout out to Ajax back in the day. Every time we battle, I was like, I got Ajax.
I got it.
Let me get Ajax. I got him. Let me eat him up, man. And so, like,
Right.
I feel that, man. I feel that, man. So I'm blessed that like you even like that's dope to me, man. And like you even acknowledge
I
it.
thought about it. I was like, yo, that's my brother. I was like, I wanted to come out, but I did it because I wanted to come out, like, not like to disrespect you, but just to be like, yo, like we know who each other are. Like, I know you know me. I'm Style Elements. You Renegades. So after you come out, I wanted to come out just out of respect. I never shared that with you.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I appreciate that, but like I said, I feel that way about a lot of cats in the bay and in the scene. And for me, that's a sign of respect. Though, like I'm like, yo, like you coming out, I know you're gonna come out and do some stuff. It's my job to come out and like try to do something to top that, right? Like, you know what I mean, and
Exactly.
go out there and kill it, whatever it is. I'm gonna do my best stuff. You know what I mean, like. And that's a sign of respect that I have for people, like, you know what I mean, like in the scene. So if I'm ever going out after everybody like aggressively, that in my mind that's a sign of respect. I'm like, yo, dog, like you're ill, and like I'm trying to get to your level.
Right. So Blakk, when you spell your name, is it BLK or BLA? How do you spell your B-boy name?
2Ks, BLAKK, and that's just a random thing, brother. And there's no secret thing about it. I just didn't want it. I just want to look normal. I'm like, nah, I gotta be different. That's more. That was just
Okay.
a random thing, man.
Yeah.
But there's actually a story how that name came to be. That was not the original name, man.
I kind of tripped out on that because nobody ever called themselves Blakk.
I didn't call myself that, man. I did not call myself that. That was not me. If you know me, man, I'm way more like humble and quiet and like that ain't me, man. That was more of a high school thing back in the day. There just wasn't,
really?
yeah, there wasn't just too many brothers out there doing their thing and I was out there, man, quite a bit. I used to hang out with this multicultural crew, man, and we had like the Filipinos, we got the Mexicans, we got the Indian. We were all together, right? One of my best friends was this guy from the Ukraine, man. Rest in peace, man. But he's one of my best friends, and we used to hang out together all the time. And they used to just like, oh, there's the Pinoy, like, and everything else like that. And they're like, they were just like, the story actually goes like this, right? I'm working at Macy's. I'm working in the men's shoe department, and I'm picking up the phone. Somebody calls there, and they used to call my work all the time, looking for me. And I'm like, "Hey, it's Macy. This is this is Edwin, blah blah blah, men's shoe department." And the guy gets on the phone. And he goes, "Blakk." I'm like, "Blakk? Blakk what? Blakk? Like black shoes? Like what you looking for?" Like, "Hey, it's me, man." I'm like, "What? What? Oh man, what the heck?" You go, "Oh man, yeah, well, I figured I'd just call you, and just to see what happened, how you respond." And then ever since that, man, they just been calling me Blakk since high school. So it was even before a b-boying thing, man. Like it was just
Okay, I got it.
it kind of carried over in hype, and after that, and I wasn't gonna call myself that. I had like mad different names. I ain't gonna talk about it on here, man, because some of them names are some silly names. But
All right.
yeah, we keep that between Cloud9. But yeah, I wouldn't even call myself that. But it was a natural progression, and it was kind of cool, man. It later on down the line, it started standing for something a little bit. Where like there weren't too many, like you said, there wasn't too many black b-boys out there at the time. Like we all knew each other, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
I knew who you were, you knew who I was, and Wacko and Dreezy,
and the brothers from the Oakland Breakers though.
Yeah, Oakland Breakers. Shout out to Oakland Breakers, man. Rest in peace, Double Dragon. So.
Yeah, Double Dragon was a tall brother, right? The real muscular one.
Yeah, the tall one that he used to do the flares and stuff like that. There was a lot of us out there, so we knew all of them, man, and everything like that. And it's funny too. We used to funk with like lightweight with Oakland Breakers back in the day, but they're all loved now, man. Yeah, so there wasn't very many of us, and so like, and I always felt like my style was like a little like a little different, and always just kind of like something unique that I kind of tried to develop on my own, and like some help with a friend, stuff like that. So I don't know, man. It kind of I liked it because it stood for something. It was something original, and ain't nobody else still calling themselves just straight black, and they like, and it made people uncomfortable a little bit to do it too. I'm like, nah, it's cool, man. Like. I'm black, man. Like, no big deal, man. Like that. Just call me that. You know what I mean? So it was good. It kind of changed the pace a little bit. So
there's a brother in Chicago. He's down with the Brickheads though. His name is Blakk.
Acro Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the brother.
Yeah.
I met him. We went out to Chicago. There's actually footage out there of City vs. City 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out there, and that's the first time I met them. Cool dude, actually, real good dude, man, and all those guys. They're dope.
CJ, his original name is CJ.
His original name is CJ.
Yeah, I know CJ though. CJ is cool. CJ's been breaking for a while though. You know what I'm saying?
No, rich history out there, man. He's been doing it for a long time, man. So a long time. So, yeah, I got a chance to meet those guys out in Chicago, man. It was dope, man. Chicago's rough, man. I tell you.
So now that we're in 2023, like, how do you feel about breaking today though, or b-boyism? Because I know you're a family man. I see you in the photos. I see that you're doing coaching, and I just want to know, like, what's your perspective on breaking though? Did you kind of like lose like interest in it, or you decided to step away and like pursue like a more of the family side, or what was it?
So, I mean, the real thing was, like, I was coaching a little bit, and I was actually still teaching b-boying for a really long time. And the b-boying thing, I mean, it's kind of tough, right? Like, especially like the scene in general. Like, it's a after night evening like thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, we ain't practicing at 6 a.m. in the morning, like we go to a gym or something like that. Like, we out there, we at night. Like, practice starts at 9 p.m., you know what I'm saying? And we out there until 11, 12, 1 a.m. in the morning, like for sure. Like, some of these cats on the here now let us know 24-hour fitness. That was us, right?
Okay.
So it got tougher and tougher to like stay up on my skill levels and keep up with a lot of the young cats and doing the thing. And then going to the events, man, it was like, going to the events, it was fun, man. I still go to the events every now and then. Our boy, Gabe Delrocks, he hosts events every now and then, and I go to all of his ones when he hosts it. And I still got love for b-boy, man. I still do it, like, honestly, like on my own, like when I'm in my spot by myself and like I hear the song come on, like you catch me and you'll see me getting down and everything like that, man. So I still get the love for it has never left it. So I watch it. I like it to see that b-boys are getting an opportunity now. Getting to go to the Olympics and try to make something out of it. But even if I was in it now and doing it, I don't know if I would go into the Olympic side of it, man, because like I said, man, like it was all about just repping me, man. Like it was like repping LA, repping the Bay, repping Chicago, repping Florida, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was all about like repping to me, like, I don't know if I think it's dope to go that they have it like that and it gives people opportunities to express themselves in a way. But like, give me a cipher where we just, getting down all night, man. I'm down with that, man. And I think that's how my whole b-boying career was, because it was never just the competitions. Like some of my favorite moments were like us just like out at the night spot, like going down and getting down with like, the house dancers when they used to do all the disco house back in the day, man. And there was this crew, this house crew back in the day with Odie and a couple other cats. And
I remember Odie.
You remember Odie? Yeah. He's doing good, man. So I used to kick it with those guys and just like, they housing, but like I'm b-boying, but we just having a good time and just sharing it, man. And like, so I that part of it, I do, like, I miss a lot, like that, the cipher, man. I miss that. Like, I don't, like, competitions were cool and it was fun. I have some highlight moments of it, man. And like, I miss that. And I do remember, I just miss some of the, like, sometimes the late night practices, man. We're just sitting there and just like create, you know what I mean? So.
Right. I understand that. I respect that, Blakk. I salute you, man, being a family man and raising kids. So, because one thing I noticed about the b-boy life, like all that's fun, and then there's reality. There's Monday.
I know, man.
And then Monday through Friday, bro, like you got to figure out a way how to get some cheese into your pocket.
Yeah, man. So that's why I really hope this thing kicks off with the Olympics thing, because I felt, man, like, if you could do that and like just travel and still have a family and everything like that, man, that's dope, man. Like the only person that that I know is like close to that, right, is Rock's right? Like he's actually, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like b-boying, like he didn't go into like the Hollywood thing or anything like that. Like that seems like the natural course of things. So like if you were b-boying, then you go to Hollywood, you do some TV shows or movies or whatever, right? That felt like at the time when I was coming up, that was the next course of action. Right. I didn't want to do that. And so like the Rock is the closest thing that I know that, like, at least in America and at least in our area, that's the closest thing I know that like stuck with b-boying, did just b-boying and made a living out of it. Now he's married and now he started his own family and still b-boying, right? You know what I mean? So that's the closest thing.
I've seen him. Yeah, but he lives out here in LA and he shows up to practice, and it's crazy though, because I know Rock's since '96, and like to see him like today, and I met him in '96. It makes me think like, yeah, like this dude's stuck. What is this a trip to see somebody like that for almost 30 years still at a high level? He's not holding his back. He's not. He's not rubbing Ben Gay on his shoulders. Like he's still doing doing all this everything though. You know what I'm saying? And he's still the same dude he hasn't like when Hollywood. He doesn't act like he don't know me. You know what I'm saying? Like when he sees me, he's still same person. And that's what I really like about him.
I know. It's crazy, man. So like I said, that's the closest thing that I've seen to like making a career out of b-boying. Like that's the closest thing to me. So it's possible, but that was like, I feel like that's the exception. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, thank you. So, Blakk, man, I'll just ask you one more question. I'll let you get your day started because I think we've been on close to about an hour, though, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I was like, about that time.
Okay. So, in your mind, if you could pick a time that you would say was one of the dopest battles that you ever witnessed with your eyes, what would it be? For me, I would say it would have been the Islanders versus the Renegades at Radiotron. I was there. I was front row.
Front row, yeah.
What about for you?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. The dopest one that I've seen with my eyes.
Yeah.
Man, I'll be honest with you, man. I think it was Freestyle Session 8, and uh, it was the Massive Monkeys battle versus it was the Headhunting Renegades, man. Like, and I think that was part of the reason why I got down with them was Massive Monkeys, and I remember that battle because Massive Monkeys came out they came out with fitted jerseys on and everything else like that. And then I had to give a
Ooh.
shout out to the other battle because the Massive Monkeys went up against California that day, and they also came through with it that day.
Oh,
It was what
you talking about the Queen Mary?
Queen Mary. Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, I was there, and like I was there at that battle, and just like this, if you were there, you seen the scene of it. Like everybody was huddled around, they had the steps up, and if you were like, so I did the preliminaries, and if you look up, you just see all these people in there, and it looked crazy, man. That battle was like it was nuts, man. Like just being in that space and seeing that stuff, and just watching Massive Monkeys in California come through with the names on the jersey. They came out like looking like a crew, man, and like that was it, man.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, though, man. I not too long ago, I think Art, is his name Art, from
Yeah,
Hawaii.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, though, he had shouted you out, though, bro, and he said that like you was basically a good mentor to him, and I thought that was dope, though, bro, that he mentioned you, because your name is like rarely mentioned in the b-boy scene. So when he said that, I was like, damn, you must have left a really good impression of him. Like, what's your guys' relationship?
He I was there when he was going through a lot in life, and there was a lot of transition
Okay,
going on in his life. And he did work with me because I ended up taking this position over from Finesse that he gave me the position and kind of passed down to me. So I tried to do what Finesse did was give as many b-boys as opportunities to do something to try to like, hey, they still want to break, let me help them give them a living so they can break, right? You know what I'm
oh,
saying? So it was kind of like
I
that.
got
So and he was transitioning in a really good, in a really tough time, and like you're sitting in the office at work and stuff like that. Like you're gonna have a lot of conversations about what's going on and everything like that. So I saw he was down, and we had a lot of conversations. And it was I was just glad to be there for him at the time, man. And you never know what those things kind of manifest to be. So when I heard that too, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, man, it was the and so
you.
I'm just glad that like that moment did leave some kind of lasting impact on him, and I was really so that was really heartfelt for me to hear that too, man.
Right.
So, but yeah, yeah, we have a really good relationship. He's been a real close friend of mine, and for a really long time.
Oh, oh, man. Thank you for sharing that, Black. I appreciate you, though, brother. Like I said, I was doing this, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like brothers, though, too. Like we need to just give more recognition to each other, though. You know what I'm saying? Because like I just always felt that way, though. You know what I'm saying? Like people like yourself that's been on the front lines, and it's not to say like people like you have to say like you have to respect me, but I want to let you know from my point of view, like you inspired me a lot, and like you impacted my life too as an individual. That's why I reached out to you because I was like, I've always respected you, bro. And like you said, we had minimum conversation, but your energy, it was very welcoming. And to me, that's what struck me. You wasn't one of them dudes that would just look at me and just be like, wow, man, look at this dude trying to show off. Because I used to get that a lot because, my top rock game is like, it's super fire though, bro. So some fools would be like, they would just try to challenge me. But I noticed every time me and you made eye contact, it was always like, and I always appreciated that about you. So I just wanted to give you your flowers though, bro. Like while you're still here on this earth and let you know that you inspired Mikey Ice.
And that means a lot. That actually means a lot, man. And to be honest with you, man, all the
Mm.
times we spent there, man, and I appreciate all you guys, man. Like I said, like I remember the first time I saw you guys, and just when you guys come through, and just sharing the circle and ciphering what it was all about. That inspired me to keep pushing, doing my thing, and everything like that. Just seeing brothers like you just doing your thing, like I appreciate that, man. And shout out to you, man, documenting everything, man, and putting everything out online, putting the old school
Yeah,
stuff up there, man. Like man, that is so important to me. Like documenting all the stuff that went down in the Bay. Like there's been so many great
yeah.
stories, so many great heroes, and people who are
I'm gonna put
pioneers.
that up. Yeah, I'm gonna look for you too, though, bro. So be on the lookout. I'm gonna start digging you up though too. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it is important. And I'll let you go after this. I feel like it's important because when breaking goes into the Olympics, it's gonna open up a whole new dimension, though, bro. And it's gonna
Yeah,
be like you need
yeah,
people that's from that era that's gonna tell that story. We don't need anybody else from Europe to tell the Bay Area story. We need somebody that was there on the floor sweating to tell our story. So that's the reason why I take time out of my life, to reach out to you because I want the story to be told right. I don't want it to be told like incorrect. And I want you guys to be a part of that because Cloud9 is a part of the band to me.
yeah. I appreciate it. I'm glad we got to share the experience and everything like that. But man, I appreciate so much that people document it, man. So I'm always going to be trying to promote that, man. So I'm all so big ups to you, man. I know it ain't easy checking out that stuff, man, and finding stuff
It ain't
in
though,
the
bro.
graveyards,
Believe me
bro.
though, bro. It takes something special for me to do that because I have to look for it, watch it, basically rewind it, look at it, edit it,
Yeah.
download it, upload it, label it. It's like I'm doing stuff out of my job that normally that people get paid for, and I'm doing it not because for the money. I do it because I'm a fan of hip hop. I love hip hop with my whole entire heart, and breaking is the first introduction to hip hop, and then rap, and then everything else. So I love the b-boy culture, like since I was a kid, though, brother. So that's the reason why you see me like this, doing what I do is because I've always fell in love with breaking. Though I didn't care if it ever got to social media or anything like that, because I've been collecting tapes since like '92,
Dang,
since '92,
man.
bro.
That's some history right there, bro, man. That's some history, man, dude. I can't wait till some of the stuff you come out, man. I was he posted something up. I was like, dang, I ain't even seen this. What is this happening in the Bay? And I was like, man, damn. And so
Right.
I appreciate it, man. Like big us, man. I love watching history, man. That's
Thank
my
you,
most
though, Bryce. I
selfish thing.
appreciate it, though, brother.
Man,
So yeah, have a good rest of the day, though, brother. And I'm gonna share this with Remind, and he gets excited, though, bro. Like, believe me, even though he probably don't speak on the internet, like when this dude's on this phone, though, bro, I know, like, you know what I'm saying? I know he's at home, like shaking his shoulders, like, oh yeah, because he should be respected, though, bro. Like he revolutionized like the b-boy game, all those transitions that you see everybody's doing, and the wrist shit, like that
okay,
all
okay.
that comes from his
You if
creativity.
there's a move out there that's a tribute to Remind, like no joke that I do, it was something that he did, and I put a flip on it, put my own thing into a flare. It's out there. I don't know how much footage I have out there, but I have an actual move that's a tribute to Remind. And I need to let him know that when I see him next time. Too. Like, yo, I created this
Okay.
move off of that one set I saw at B-Boy Summit in 2001, man.
Oh, I'm gonna definitely mention that to him though, Black. And
Yeah.
thank you for this though, brother.
Hey.
This is something legendary for me. I'm gonna put it up on YouTube. If you ever get a chance, check out my channel, Mikey Ice TV. I have everything up there though, bro. And I'm gonna be posting some Cloud9 footage up there. So if you might want to just get on the phone, you might want to show the wifey or the kids.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Hey, appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, man.
All right then, Black. Peace.
Peace.